A spoiler video for Star Trek Into Darkness, it's almost the very definition of inevitability. So, big time spoilers here. So if you haven't seen Star Trek Into Darkness and you don't want it ruined, please leave. I'm gonna assume anyone who's still watching this video has seen Star Trek Into Darkness or doesn't care about spoilers, in which case, cool, so let's talk about Khan! Star Trek Into Darkness had Benedict Cumberbatch. We all theorized who he could be. We were all like, probably Khan? Yeah, he is Khan. In the movie, right when they were like, this guy's frozen, he's 300 years old, I was like, Botany Bay! However, in the Star Trek universe, there is a continuity issue there. Ricardo Montalban, Spanish dude. Same universe, Benedict Cumberbatch. Not. But if we're going on performance and we can sit back and enjoy the shit out of a movie, you're going to enjoy the shit out of this movie because Cumberbatch kills it as Khan. I was watching the movie the second time, knowing the entire time he's Khan. When he's in his cell, he's all standing there and he's all badass in stature. You're like, oh yeah, space seed, totally. And if you want to bitch about his hair length, I don't know, maybe RoboCop cut his hair. And that's the big thing I was talking about, where I was like, the trailer really doesn't show you what the movie's about. It doesn't really do the movie justice. You think by watching the trailer, it's going to be like, all right, Khan's out there, and then Jim Kirk goes after him, and then Khan intercepts him with his big saucer section ship, and he's gonna kick the shit out of Kirk, and that's that, and the Enterprise nosedives into the Earth. Not like that at all. The main bad guy for most of the movie is RoboCop. He's all like, crew of the Enterprise, dead or alive, you're coming with me. Khan and the crew of the Enterprise actually work together as a means to an end. I love how Kirk was like, I'm pretty sure we're helping him. And it's true, and I love seeing that Khan is a master tactician. Working with the crew of the Enterprise to get what he wanted was a very good tactic. After that, he didn't need him anymore, so now let's conquer the Enterprise. After all, no ship should go down without a captain. One of my favorite scenes in the entire movie is when he tells Spock to lower the shields, and Spock's like, well, no, not gonna do that, because if you kill us, and you're gonna kill your crew. Then he just breaks down how he's gonna take away the oxygen from the Enterprise, everyone's gonna suffocate, and Spock's like, yeah, that is logical. That is one smart human being right there, I must say. Yes, Spock did have his plan too, but you gotta love the Cumberbatchiness. I love the way Cumberbatch delivered his lines in this movie. You're just like, that is Khan speak right there. Who on earth, when Cumberbatch was delivering his Khan lines, was like, no, you were like,
now, shall we begin?
Even when he wasn't speaking and he was just doing, like the scene where he pushes Carol Marcus to the ground, goes over her, and he's like, and just steps on her leg, you're like, he's in it to win it, motherfuckers. I loved how we got to see he was a badass in hand-to-hand combat. You always knew he was strong, you know. In Wrath of Khan, he picked up Chekhov like he was a Hoover vacuum or something. But it wasn't just strength in this movie. He had combat skill, and you got to see it firsthand. You know, when the Klingons are throwing down with the crew, and Cumberbatch is just wasting them with his BFG 9000 and all being Cumberbatchy. When I first thought, I was like, something's up, because he's not killing Kirk and the away team. And yeah, he probably thought, I was threatened with missiles. I imagine that's my frozen crew. I can't kill them or I'll never get them back. But when he was wasting the Klingons, you gotta think to yourself, he's like, I'm a conqueror. I like conquering challenges. Klingons are a more worthy opponent than little human beings. So yeah, let's have some fun and waste them. Just a side note, I suppose, a cliff note in his Khan brain. My only regret is Khan didn't get to do as much as I wanted him to do. I wish we got a movie where he was the adversary the entire time. I don't know, maybe in the third movie, because he is frozen at the end of this. If you're talking about logic, it was only logical to bring Khan into the second Star Trek movie that Abrams is doing, because Khan is the nemesis. He's the adversary. And hey, Iron Man 3, I did enjoy you too. Not as much as Into Darkness, but I still enjoyed you. This is how you do it. You have a nobody guy who reveals he's a bigger guy. You don't take a bigger guy and reveal him to be a nobody guy. See it? Yeah, you see it. It's different. I love the parallel when Kirk had to fix the warp core like Spock had to in Wrath of Khan, and Kirk gives his life like Spock did, and you're like, it was just mind-blowing. The parallel goes the entire way, man. Like in Wrath of Khan, Bones was down there with Spock. Spock knocks him out. In this movie, Scotty's down there with Kirk. Kirk knocks him out. Even when Spock gets hailed and Scotty's like, sir, you gotta get down here, come quick. The setting, the mood, the moment, it was very well done. Then the dialogue between the two, you're like, gosh, they're friends, and I'm sad. However, then we get the uber throwback of all of them. A throwback that I liked was in the movie, but there's something about the delivery I didn't fully accept. It's when Spock gets all mad and then he's all, Khan! I appreciated it, but for some odd reason I'm like, that wasn't done as well as Shatner did it. Dare I say that? Dare I say that Zachary Quinto did not deliver a line as well as Shatner did? You gotta admit, you do prefer Khan! Shatner's not without talent, like Spock's eulogy when he's all like, of my friend, I can only say this. Of all the souls I have encountered, his was the moon. Chokes me up every time. The guy changed the pronunciation of the word human forever. For the third Star Trek, J.J. Abrams is probably not going to direct it because he's all on Star Wars now, but I'd actually like to see the third Star Trek pick up at the end of their 5-year mission. And now Kirk has to give up the captain's chair and he's all grown. It's a chair that's defined the entirety of who he is for half a decade. And maybe he can bring Khan back for the big Wrath of Khan thing. Then he can go to City Alpha 5 and City Alpha 6 will explode. And then you can have the movie Wrath of Khan and I don't know, maybe everything can come full circle. Carol Marcus has an accent in this movie. That's interesting, because she didn't in Wrath of Khan. I don't know, maybe she loses it from being in space too long. But Star Trek Into Darkness does pull off what it's trying to do so well, where I'm like, alright, I'll give you a slide on the accents and the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch is as pale white as possible, and Ricardo Montalban just is not. Try to tell me he wasn't a badass in this movie. Try to tell me he wasn't a great Khan. The movie wrapped up a bit quickly. It was like, alright, we need him alive. Pow! Darkness. Kirk wakes up. Oh, hey, you've been out for 2 weeks. Space, the final frontier. Credits. I was like, oh, I guess it's over. When I first saw it, I felt it was a very sudden wrap-up. When I knew it was a sudden wrap-up and I had built it in my mind as being a very abrupt and sudden wrap-up, I watched it the second time and I was like, oh, it wasn't as abrupt as I thought it was the first time. In the end, Star Trek Into Darkness was badass, Khan was a badass, Cumberbatch was a badass as Khan being a badass. So Cumberbatch as Khan, what did you think of it? How do you think he did? Whatever you think, comment below, let me know. And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more. Go!